Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So, see my batteries aren't charged. Today was a very overcast day. It is about 3 o'clock. It is the last day of November, 11:30. Sunday, 3.0 degrees according to this. Door's been open for a while, so that's probably true. This says it needs new batteries, but 37 degrees. You guys can see that, right? So, welcome to Sunday. I'd be surprised if this one's lit up. Oh, no, it's lit up. It says 39. So, you guys remembered with this thing, it's always had kind of a difficult carburetor. And what I did was I changed it. Remember, I ordered that vacuum manifold here, and I, got it all hooked up. Matter of fact, what I do with that little flashlight. Yeah, today is a day of losing things. Anyway, take my word for it. I got that nice vacuum manifold on there. And, oh, there you go. You can see it actually pretty good. So, got the new carb on it. And if I wouldn't be, think of the profanity of your choice, it's still behaving about the same. I mean, let me fire it up for you. It idles better with the new carburetor because it'll actually idle. So I at Musty's one suggestion a while ago when I was troubleshooting a Kohler engine, I bought a couple of spark testers, and probably what I'll do is I'll put one on each cylinder and see what it's up to. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Cushman engines. I have a friend who was in the reserves at Stewart Airport, and they had a couple of these floating around. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned I said, looks like an airplane motor, the two cylinders sticking out the sides. I said, I got one like that. As a matter of fact, I have 3 like that. And his response was, if I were you, I'd blow them up. They're nothing but trouble. I guess in the reserves, in his particular reserve base, had access to all kinds of spare parts because they had been there for quite a while. They tried everything to make them run better, and they just really had no luck. They just, he said they were just an effing pest. He says they would get them running, and they'd seem to be running good, and they'd take them out on the flight line, and they would die. He said they put new gas tanks on them. He said they put fuel turnoffs on them. He says they put fuel filters on them. He says they changed the carburetors to modern carburetors. He says they dicked with the ignition. They even had some genius come up with an electronic ignition for him. And he said they were nothing but a pain in the ass. He said they just made him walk frequently. I thought I had made some real progress. And I discovered, I had a bad spark wire. I mean, this thing was wide open. I went right to the edge of the scale on this thing, which is 200, or what's that, 2 meg. And the resistance on the wire was more than 2 meg. And put a wire on it, and the wire that came from the Cushman outside is actually a solid copper wire with the resistance very, very low. So I put that on there. Probably what I'll do is I'll go fetch up the other wire. Maybe I should go fetch the coils off of it too. I don't know. Probably, I should stop fooling around. One should do these things logically. What I should do is put the spark tester on it and see what it tells me, and then go on from there. And I should forget what my buddy from the base tells me, because just because he couldn't fix it and his buddies couldn't fix it really doesn't mean I can't fix it. I should probably also at some point do a compression test on it, both cylinders, just to make sure I haven't sucked a valve or something without realizing it. And just once when you're troubleshooting, you should start in a logical place. You should make sure your engine is solid, which is a compression test, right? That tells you that the engine goes round and round, the valves open and close, and you actually have a certain amount of compression. If I do that compression test and discover one of these cylinders is completely out to lunch, then I have another decision to make, right? Though I have a spare motor over there, and the one on the side of the house. So I don't exactly have a shortage of parts, though. Getting the engine out of there, I probably have to take at least the seat off, right? I'm gonna have to get, and the cage the seat goes on, I'm gonna have to get the minimum of that off, if not more. Yeah, these things are a pest. I don't know. I much prefer the Honda 200 motor. Okay, guys, I've been babbling for about 8 minutes now. Thank you for watching and commenting and subscribing. I don't think Fearless Front watches my videos, but Fearless Front has an electric golf cart that he dragged into his shop next to his wood / waste oil burning stove. And I'm not sure, I think he said it was an Easy Go, so I'm not sure if it's one of these with the body taken off. His looks just like a frame. The engine, the motor, the electric motor he has on there is sideways like this one. And anyway, he's starting to build a cart project with it, and I'm watching it with interest because he seems to be running across a lot of the same decisions I am. In his case, he bought the frame, and once again, it didn't seem to come with the body. And the suspension is already, I'm going to use the word pinned. What they did is, I guess the person he got the frame from said the back suspension was pooched pretty good. So instead of leaf springs, they just put straight bars across the frame. I'm going to do that also for a couple of reasons. It just makes it easier to drive where the electric motor used to be. Or even if I unless I completely replace the back end with that guy out there, which shouldn't be out in the snow. Unless I do that and come up with some kind of suspension so that it actually uses the leaf springs and all on the one out there, it's just going to be difficult. It's much easier to make it a straight suspension and then just go a little bigger with the tires and put some balloony things on there. You know, pick something from the Horde that's a little soft on the sidewall. That'll give me, you know, an inch or two or a few inches of play in the back, especially when it's got some weight on it. I'm going to leave the front suspension, though the front suspension won't be all that effective because it's used to having, I don't know, 6 batteries at, I don't know, what's a golf cart battery weigh, 60 pounds? 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. So I don't know, you could call it like 400 or 500 pounds worth of batteries in there, plus the people. So if you got suspension, you know, ready to spring on with an extra 500 pounds more than me, it'd have to be quite a bump to get it to bounce. But he's got it. He's got as far as cutting a bunch of things off. He does not have the motor he's going to put in it yet. He's still deciding how he's going to drive that rear end once his electric motor is off, and he's got the little attachment thing there that he has a sprocket welder to. But he's concerned that the sprocket's going to rip up the case. So he's talking about putting a jack shaft on and extending it and all that kind of stuff. He's also talking about putting reverse into it, which requires a transmission. I got those Sears riding mowers on the other side of the wood pile there with the 3-speed plus reverse. What would be interesting is driving that 3-speed plus reverse through a torque converter, because then your low range would be half the low range, right? They seem to double up. So when you step on it, if you got a heavy load you're trying to pull with the low range, if you're in first plus the torque converter cuts that in half again, you would have a pretty good pull. And you could set the gearing so that first isn't so creepy crawly low, right? You can set first so that it's just a tad faster than it would normally be. So after you're rolling, it would pull really pretty good. All right, folks, I've been babbling for 12 minutes. I'm almost out of memory card here. Only got 6 minutes left. Thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. If anybody's open to any suggestions on what to do with this, that doesn't include sticks of dynamite, buckets of gasoline, and large amount of firewood, I would appreciate it, because I really, when this thing runs, it's really a very helpful cart. Although it doesn't dump, you can see the bed is handy. The bed doesn't have holes in it, so whatever I put back here stays back here. It steers well. It's strong as a mule. It pulls well. It maneuvers in very tight locations. I mean, Cushman did a lot of things right when it came to this thing, but you know, 1972 was a long time ago, so that's part of my problem. That's one of those heat lamps up there on the ceiling. Makes it nice. I can work out here. I don't have to wear a hat. I can actually feel the heat on my head. So, all right, folks, remember, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, keep your trucks out the buckwheat, and remember to enjoy all your days, every single one of them. Bye now.